For the last 60 days, I've been using the Canon C50 on client work, as well as just personal fun, travel, cinematic work. And today I want to come to you guys to share my experience, the ups, the downs, what I like, what I didn't like, about my workflow, my kind of process behind using the camera, as well as some things that surprised me, and then some things that kind of frustrated me that I wish Canon would have done better. The future of filmmaking is compact cinema cameras, and it started back with the FX3. Companies are obviously going to lean towards what the consumer wants. Here we are now with Canon having their own FX3 style body, this boxy, small cinema camera style. This camera really feels like it gets out my way. And what I mean by that is that I'm able to focus more so on the craft and the art of telling a story, rather than fumbling around with the settings and how I want this to look and that. Like, I already have my settings dialed in on Canon, so switching to another ecosystem that's the uphill battle that I have to face. So the first thing I noticed about the Canon C50 was its form factor. It's small, but it's clearly designed to be a cinema camera first. Coming from hybrid cameras like the EOS R, honestly, the R5 C, I guess you can also consider a hybrid camera. This is a big change. Obviously, no EVF. Being that about 70% of the work that I've been doing over the last 5 years has been video, normally I end up just attaching photography as an additional service to my video services. This really fit the bill. Like, it really stepped up to the plate, and when this camera first came out, I instantly saw it as a replacement to my Canon R5 C. A lot of this is basically from the R5 C, the photo mode and the video mode, the form factor with the fan. A lot of this is just basically coming from an R5 C. This is basically an R5 C without the EVF. So I ended up selling my Canon R5 C, and that will be replaced by the R5 Mark II. The form factor is like really nice to get used to, because coming from a mirrorless body like an R or an R5, it shares a lot of the same like size and like form factor. Obviously, it has the fan on the back, and the fan like protrudes a little bit, but other than that, it feels like a mirrorless camera. So what usually happens with hybrid cameras is you put a cage on it, you put the external battery pack on it, and then you add your monitor. So after you've added all that, your mirrorless camera, your R5, your R5 Mark II ends up becoming a mini cinema camera. So if you're out there and you mostly shoot video and you know you're gonna end up rigging your camera out anyway because you want it to mostly shoot video, you might as well go straight to a camera made for video. The great part about this camera is that they have everything in mind for somebody that shoots high quality cinematography. So all the monitoring tools like waveforms, peaking, I use false color all the time. All that stuff is gonna come standard in this cinema body. And then you never have to worry about overheating or things like that because there's a built-in fan. We have the professional CF Express SD card. You can consider that professional as well, but obviously CF Express is gonna be a little bit faster. And overall, this body is just set up for extended video recording. So podcasts, interviews, anything where you can think of where you're gonna be recording for more than 30 minutes, even an hour, you're gonna want something with a built-in fan and comes with all the accoutrements for shooting high quality video. All right, so the speed and efficiency is one of the main reasons why I got this camera. This is my lightest weight package to get high quality video on a professional setting. So being able to rig this up or rig it down or, carry it with just a lens, and it becomes this really small and compact setup that you can like carry around everywhere. Like, I've been able to carry this like just hanging out with friends, to different meetups. Shout out to Content Sunday. They have a great creative meetup here in Charlotte. I brought this to Content Sunday, and it's just a good, fun time to use whenever I'm using it. And like, it's like perfect for creators that like want high quality professional stuff, but they have their own lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, Canon nailed the market segmentation of who this camera's for. For the first time, I feel like this was for me. Like this, they made this with me in mind, you know, and I guess I'm their target audience. I'm their perfect customer. Canon did a really good job designing this built-in fan. I think it really fits the camera's aesthetic. It doesn't stand out too much, but you know it's there. Obviously with that means you're not gonna have any water resistance, because you definitely don't want to get water or sand or anything in that fan. So this is not something that you really want to carry to like water areas or beaches, waterfalls, things like that. The C50 might be a little bit risky to take with you. One thing that I feel like Canon could have done though is had some type of internal ND system in this camera. So the Canon C80 and the Canon C70, those both have internal NDs. That's one of the real reasons why I purchased the C80 and why I had a C70, is because of that internal ND. And I was really hoping to see internal ND in the Canon C50. And I knew it was possible when they put it inside the PowerShot V1. The PowerShot V1 has an internal ND. I think it's only 1 or 2 stops of ND. They added internal ND to that small camera. So if they could add it to that, maybe 3 stops of ND, that could have been enough so that this can be the best camera possible. Maybe that's the reason why they didn't add it. They were like, all right, if you want internal NDs, you got to step up to the C80. But I just feel like if you're gonna add it to something as small as the PowerShot V1, then there's the opportunity you could have added it to something as compact and cinema purposed as the Canon C50. It would have been a great addition because obviously the C70, the C80, the C400, a lot of their cinema cameras already have internal NDs. So if they could have done it here as well, not only would it have been like revolutionary in the camera space, but it would sit as one of the only cameras to have it for a very long time at this size. Overall, I am actually pretty impressed with this camera. Like, I am thoroughly impressed with Canon's execution and design, feature set, kind of pushing the boundary, trying to innovate a little bit with that open gate, and just doing things that creators would benefit from. And I feel like they have a great team over there at Canon. Would love to meet some people over at Canon, because this is where great engineering and great art and great software combine. I've also been able to use this in some pretty low light situations and found that it's not that much noise. There is noise, obviously, because I think with any camera there's going to be noise, but especially with the lens that you use, like if I'm using a T1.4 or a f1.4, f1.8, when you're using those lenses and you can capture a lot of light, you're gonna get really sharp images. And I really like that about the C50. I noticed that on the R5 C, when I was shooting anything low light on the R5 C, it just struggled. It struggled with like banding lines, scan lines going up and down the sensor. Like, you can tell that sensor was aging, but this newer sensor on the C50, I think the image just looks a lot better. It's coming out a lot cleaner, and I really appreciate what they did with the sensor. So cameras that perform well in low light tend to have lower megapixels. So that's why the FX3 with its 12.1 megapixel sensor is so popular, and why it's so well liked by people. Basically, when you have lower megapixels, the pixels can be bigger, and when the pixels are bigger, you can capture more light in each pixel. So that's why something like the FX3 can do so well in low light, is because it has a 12.1 megapixel sensor. This has a 32 megapixel sensor. So it's about almost 3 times as much megapixels. But I've used both of those cameras, the FX3 and the C50, and find that although the FX3 is superior in low light, this is not far behind at all. It's not far behind, and because it has a higher megapixel count, in situations where you have a lot of light, your image is gonna be sharper. And that's what I really, really love about this camera. So if you're a camera crew of one, you know, lights, camera, audio, everything, if you're that type of person, this camera is for you. And that's kind of how I am. I'm a crew of one. I can shoot, direct, produce commercials, documentaries, and all I need is a script, a storyboard, an idea, and I can make it happen. So overall, this is a great, small, lightweight, compact cinema camera setup, and I'm just so proud. I'm proud of Canon as a company. I'm proud of me as a cinematographer and videographer and my growth in this business. And like, to see something like this, I just can't wait to see what they have planned next.